Hi everybody. Oh, this video is going to either further traumatize me or be very interesting. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. You saw the title. We are going to be reading dark romances for a week. Realistically, is this video going to take me over a week to film? Yes, but it's for the title purposes. My experience with dark romance is personally not a lot. I think last year I read the serial killer ex-FBI agent romance. I can't remember the Mindfuck series. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name. I read that. I read fanfic when I was 15, which is just enough trauma in itself. So I don't have a lot of experience with it. And if you are familiar with me and familiar with my channel, you know that I don't really like reading smut. I think I'm gonna soon get to the point where I don't need to reiterate that in every single video. You can see why reading dark romance and having that taste in reading is probably not a great combination, but we're still going to try nonetheless. I would be lying if I said that I've not already kind of started this video. I have started reading one of the books, and that is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. So if you know anything about this author, this is the author that wrote The Duet about a stalker. A little stalker romance. I have not read the books. I will not read the books because I'm pretty sure that he her, and that will never be okay. And I did not, I think, put two and two together before I bought this until I got it, where I was like, oh yeah, that's that author. This is a romance, a dark romance about a person who is running away from something that we don't really know right now what that is. She has to steal identities in order to open credit cards, stay alive. She ends up hooking up with this guy who is our male main character and ends up stealing his identity, and he finds out. I got this book recommendation from Heather McClary. When she talked about it, the only scene that she talked about was, this is the book where there's a scene where she has her head in shark infested water, and I have read that scene. I'm literally only 155 pages into this book and that scene has already happened. I didn't know there's a very interesting kind of subplot in this book. This isn't really spoilers, but they do get stranded on an island, and while they're on this island they don't really trust the person who lives on the island, and that's the part of the book that I'm at right now that is very interesting. Pretty much any smut scene I've been skipping, and if there is a romance where they fall in love at the end, that is not for me. I don't support it at all. But we're gonna keep reading this and see what comes out of it. I don't know, something about this just doesn't sit right with me. We're trying to read books outside of the genres that we always read because I think I'm getting very bored with the genres I'm always reading. But yeah, so I will catch up with you when I have some updates about this book. I tried listening to the audiobook of this book. Don't do that. Maybe listen to a chapter because he has an Australian accent. This takes place in Australia, but except for that, don't do it. So here's the thing. I am on page 260 and I believe there's about 400 pages of this book. Is this book good? No, in my opinion. If you like this book, that is great for you, and obviously everyone's reading tastes are very different. Given my normal reading taste, it makes sense that I don't like this book. I don't like Enzo, who is our male main character. I don't like the relationship that we're supposed to be following. He just uses shitty excuses to hurt her, and that he cares for her and that he was the only one that is allowed to hurt her. That's weird. The whole reason I'm even still reading this book is because there's a little bit of a mystery about where they're stranded and who they're stranded there with that I'm very interested in. That's genuinely the only thing that's keeping me reading this book. I don't really know what to exactly think about this book. I'm gonna try and finish it and I'll come back with my final opinions on it. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it will turn itself around. Right now I don't see any chemistry or anything in the relationship besides lust, so. Hello. It is multiple, and I mean multiple hours later. I believe I last updated you at like 7 or 8 in the morning this morning. I ended up finishing Does It Hurt this morning. It's right now 3:20, and I thought we would jump into the next book. I had my whole day today, and I still feel the same way that I felt when I finished this book. So we're going to talk about this before we go into our next read. So I started out with this book because, in my opinion, I think this was probably the book I was going to like the least out of the 3 books that I have planned for this video. I kind of wanted to just get it out of the way. I did not like the romance at all. I think it was completely just based off of lust and based off of 2 people finding each other attractive. Definitely look into the trigger warnings if you want to read this book. I will put them right here. There are so many, and the first time I picked up this book, originally I actually wasn't going to film this video and I just wanted to read this to get it off of my TBR shelf, and I saw the trigger warnings and I literally had to like put the book down because I was not ready for that. But there are some things that he does to her I just don't think a person can ever come back from. So he definitely like lost points, if you want to like say it like that, I guess, with me because of that. The whole plot with them being stranded and not necessarily trusting who they're on the island with, I thought was the most interesting part of the book. The way that that kind of ends, it just felt really like, I don't want to say rushed because it's not necessarily that, but it just felt so unrealistic. And I'm also like trying not to be super harsh on this because like it's a book, it's fiction, obviously it's not going to be realistic. I didn't really like this. I give this a 1 star. Maybe I'd give it a 1.5, probably closer to like a 1.25. If you like dark romances, you'll probably like this book. This is one of those books where good books versus like just good like Wattpad-y, raunchy, smutty books. Like this is a good Wattpad-y, raunchy, smutty book. If you're in the mood for, you're probably really going to like this. By far not like a good book. Like it's not a classic. It's not something you're going to recommend to everyone. Thank God we're done with that book and we can move on to the next book, which I think out of the 3 books that I'm going to read for this video, I'm going to like the most. And this is Butcher and Blackbird. So this is 2 serial killers that fall in love, from what I know. And I did read last year, I read the Mindfuck series, which is a serial killer and an FBI agent. So I've already kind of read something along the lines. I do believe there's like a cookies and cream ice cream scene, which I don't know what that means, but from my understanding, I think it's someone's shit. The fact that that's a sentence that just came out of my mouth is insane. But yeah, this is going to be the next book that we are going to read. I'm kind of nervous for it, kind of excited. I might try and see if I can find the audiobook for this because Heather McClary, again, I feel like I already mentioned her in this video. I probably did. She said that the guy has like an Irish accent for this book in the audiobook version. Yeah, I'm gonna start this right now and I will give you updates whenever I have them about what I'm feeling about this. You guys, I'm literally only 7 pages into this book and I really like the main guy. He's literally a serial killer. I'm on chapter 2, The Orb Weaver. I'm sitting across the table from the fucking Orb Weaver and she's fucking beautiful. He's literally a serial killer. Why do I feel like this? Hi everybody, it is right now Monday. I know I'm totally wearing the same sweater as I was yesterday. Ignore that. It is my emotional support sweater right now. Thank you. So today while I was at work, I actually ended up finishing Butcher and Blackbird. Before we actually talk about what I feel about the book and about the book itself, I'm gonna quick throw up the trigger warning page so that you're aware of everything that this book contains before we talk about it. I'm not gonna lie, going into this video, this was the one book that I was expecting to like the most, just because I've already read a book pretty similar to it. I think this book is so much better than the Mindfuck series. In my opinion, the Mindfuck series felt like a giggly, like guilty pleasure type of read, but this I actually think was written a lot better. It's definitely still like outlandish. I think this book is just so much better written than the Mindfuck series. So if you liked that book, definitely try this book if you've not already read it. I do believe this is going to be like an interconnected series. The second book is called Leather and Lark, and it's about 2 other characters who are in this book. I've heard so many things about this book. First off, there is a ice cream scene that wasn't what I thought it was, but it's just as disgusting. One of the other main things that I heard about this book when people were talking about it was that there is an accidental cannibalism scene, and there's actually quite a lot of like cannibalism talk in this book. So if you're someone who's very squeamish, I would not recommend this. And 2, I remember this from Haley Pham's video, but there is a smut scene in this book that is like 10 to 15 pages long. It is insane. I was skipping it and I was like, God, this is like not ending. Jesus fuck. It was like 3 chapters worth of the same smut scene. So if you like that, you'll probably really like this book. With reading the last book, I was scared that I was being too critical just because this is not my normal genre. And I was scared that all of these dark romances was literally just gonna be smut and nothing else. But I really enjoyed this. So I gave this a 4.5. It just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but it definitely is a really good book. I think if you are someone who is interested in this and you have not picked this up, that you should. So yeah, I finished that today. It's literally Monday, and I believe I said in the beginning of this video that I was worried that this is going to take me quite a long time to finish the books that I have planned, but we're literally on to the last book. So the last book for this video, I don't know how this is gonna work because I'm pretty sure this is technically like book 5 in this series. I don't even know what this series is called, but it's these types of covers. I don't know, it's a Sophie Lark series. Does it say? Brutal Birthright series, I think is what this is. I have no idea. So when I was in my cowboy romance era, someone said that this is like a dark romance, cowboy romance with mafia. I have no clue, but this is the next and final book of this video. So we're going to read this, and oh, there are photos in this. Where's that man? There's a man. But yeah, we're gonna read this. Oh my God. There's a ton of photos in this. So this is going to be the last book of this video, and if I'm super confused in this book and I don't like it, part of it could definitely be because I'm definitely skipping, I think, like 3 books before you are supposed to read this book. I bought this one. I probably am not going to read the rest of the series, so I at least want to read this one to put it on my romance shelf so it's not just sitting on my TBR shelf. But yeah, I'm actually right now going to go downstairs and go work out, and then I think after I shower tonight, I want to spend quite a long portion of my night tonight reading so that I can get a good chunk of this book finished. I think this cover is stunning. The artwork for this cover is so beautiful. I don't know if it is mafia or if like the beginning books of this series are mafia books, but I really want to read a mafia book. Like I've explored the serial killer-esque-ness of it. I've explored the weird like dark smut. I don't know. The first book of this video was just such an interesting choice, and now I want to read mafia. So let's hope that this is what I hope. If not, I will be reading Harry Styles fanfic. My mom sold me to the mafia to fill that void. So I did do a little bit of research, and you can read these books out of order. It's going to be an interconnected, or it is an interconnected series. So if I do decide to go back in the beginning of the series, I will have like some of the couples spoiled, I think, but it shouldn't be too hard and confusing for me to dive into this book. I'm excited but nervous. I genuinely don't really know what this book is about. This one is the one book out of this entire video that I have no idea. I think it's mafia. It's really floppy. Last 2 books that I read were kind of that like Amazon book quality. That's not my favorite, but this is like a good floppy, and I'm excited. Did that look realistic? Because I already finished this book today while I was at work. And I don't think I filmed at all while I was reading it. I finished this video. So I did in fact finish this book while I was at work today. It was a very slow day, and literally I read to page 90 last night and then just finished this all. I'm gonna be honest, I really did enjoy the mafia aspect of this, and I actually really liked the characters. I don't think there was too much smut. There is some smut in it. I think there's like 2 smut scenes in it, but they're not like super extravagant where you're skipping like 4 chapters like you do in a different book in this video. The cowboy-ness of this book. I haven't even explained, I don't think, what this book is about. This book is about a mafia family that is centered in Chicago, and one of the daughters basically gets a hit put out for her, or a hitman is out to get her. So she has to get a bodyguard, and the bodyguard is this guy who she doesn't really like. She's met him before, and he is like a southern little country boy, and that is where the like countryness comes into this book. I'm not gonna say more about that because I will get into spoilers about this. I didn't not like the country part, the cowboy part of this book, but I enjoyed the mafia-ness of this book more. I'm literally saying so much without saying anything at all. That is it for this video. I read 3 dark romance books, and if there's anything that you can take away from this video, because like I read this, absolutely hated it, gave it a 1.5. I read this, really loved this, still a little bit too smutty for me, I gave this a 4.5, and then I read this, and in all honesty, I don't know why I have this rated higher than this, because I liked this book more, but this just, it feels like a 3.5 to me. Like that's what feels right in my heart, and that is how you know my star rating system like actually means nothing. I rate books on vibes and nothing else. If you have any other dark romances that you think I would like, let me know. I don't think I'm gonna reread or like read this whole series, but I might read the synopsises of the books and see which ones would interest me the most, just because I kind of like the mafia. That is it for today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. I will see you in my next video. I don't know what to read next. What do I read now? This is all I've known for the past couple of days. Okay, goodbye.